The ghost in your genome. How one winter changed humanity. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on a ridge 70,000 years ago. To your left, the world is dying. To your right, it hasn't even begun. You aren't a primitive creature. You have the same capacity for love, grief, and curiosity that you do today. But the sky is a permanent, bruised purple. The air tastes like ash. For 6 years, a volcanic winter has gripped the planet, and your entire species, every single person who dreams, speaks, and thinks like you, has dwindled down to a few thousand souls. We often think of human history as a steady, upward climb, a march of progress from stone tools to smartphones. But the truth is much more fragile. Our history is defined not by how much we grew, but by how close we came to vanishing entirely. The Great Bottleneck. Geneticists call it a population bottleneck. Around 70,000 to 75,000 years ago, something happened that nearly wiped us off the map. While the exact cause is still debated, some point to the massive Toba supereruption in Sumatra, others to a sudden shift in global climate. The result was undeniable: the human population plummeted. We weren't just endangered, we were on the brink of extinction. Recent genetic studies suggest there may have been as few as 1,000 to 10,000 breeding pairs of humans left on the entire planet. Think about that. The entire future of the human race, every symphony ever composed, every war ever fought, every child born since, depended on a group of people small enough to fit into a single modern football stadium. If a leopard had been a bit faster, if a drought had lasted 1 month longer, if a single tribe had lost its way in the dark, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. The Earth would be a silent world of forests and oceans, indifferent to our absence. The evolutionary pressure cooker. When a species is squeezed through a bottleneck, something strange happens. Evolution stops being a slow crawl and turns into a sprint. This period of extreme hardship didn't just test our physical strength, it rewired our minds. In a world where resources were vanishing, the lone wolf didn't survive. The humans who made it through were the ones who learned to cooperate in ways the world had never seen. We had to become hypersocial. We had to develop the ability to trust people who weren't our immediate kin. This is likely when our capacity for complex symbolism and language truly exploded. We needed to share information about distant water sources, tell stories to keep morale high, and create rituals that bound us together. We didn't survive because we were the strongest or the fastest. We survived because we were the best at imagining a future together. Our humanity, that specific blend of empathy, communication, and collective identity, was forged in the fires of a near-extinction event. We are the descendants of the ultimate survivors. The ghost DNA, but the bottleneck left a scar on us that we still carry today. Compared to other primates, humans have remarkably low genetic diversity. 2 chimpanzees from different sides of a single river in Africa can be more genetically different from each other than 2 humans from opposite sides of the globe. We are, in a very real sense, a family of clones. This lack of diversity is a biological record of that terrible winter. We all share the same ghost DNA from that tiny group of survivors. It's why we look so different on the surface: skin color, height, hair texture, but are virtually identical under the hood. Our external differences are just the recent paint job on a very old, very specific engine that was built to survive the end of the world. The gift of anxiety and hope. This history also explains a lot about our modern psychology. Have you ever wondered why we are so prone to anxiety? Why we constantly scan the horizon for what might go wrong? In the bottleneck, the optimists who assumed everything would be fine didn't make it. The ones who survived were the ones who were hypervigilant, the ones who worried about the winter during the height of summer. We are the children of the worried, but we are also the children of the hopeful. To survive those conditions, our ancestors had to believe in something they couldn't see. They had to believe that if they just kept walking, if they just shared their last bit of dried meat, the sun would eventually come back. That survival spark, that stubborn, irrational refusal to give up, is baked into your nervous system. The view from the stadium. Today, there are 8 billion of us. We have filled every corner of the globe, split the atom, and touched the stars. It's easy to feel like we are invincible, like the world belongs to us. But when you feel overwhelmed by the modern world, remember that stadium. Remember those few thousand people standing in the ash, looking at a dying world and deciding to keep going anyway. We aren't just a successful species. We are a miracle of endurance. We carry the strength of those survivors in every cell of our bodies. They gave us the gift of language, the drive to connect, and the resilience to weather any storm. The history of humanity isn't a story of how we conquered the world. It's a story of how we almost lost it, and how, by leaning on each other, we found a way back from the edge. So, the next time you look at a stranger, remember, you're looking at a distant cousin who shared that same cold winter with you. We are the few who made it. And that, more than anything, is what makes us human. The first architects of sleep, when we left the trees, close your eyes for a second and think about your bed. The soft mattress, the weight of the duvet, the pillows that cradle your head. For us, sleep is a passive act, a retreat from the world. But 2 million years ago, the act of lying down was the most radical and dangerous technological advancement in the history of our species. It was the moment we conquered the night. And in doing so, we unlocked the human mind. The prison of the canopy. For millions of years, our ancestors, creatures like Australopithecus, lived in a state of perpetual vigilance. Like modern chimpanzees, they slept in the trees. They would weave temporary platforms of branches and leaves high above the forest floor to escape predators like the saber-toothed cat. But tree sleeping comes with a heavy price. You can never truly let go. If you fall into a deep, heavy sleep in a tree, you fall to your death. Because of this, our ancestors slept in short, fitful bursts. Their REM sleep, the stage of sleep where the brain processes emotions, solidifies memories, and engages in complex problem-solving, was incredibly limited. They were physically rested, but cognitively capped. They were prisoners of the gravity that kept them in the canopy. Then, about 1.8 million years ago, a new character entered the stage, Homo erectus. The courage to lie down. Homo erectus was the first of our ancestors to commit fully to life on the ground. They were taller, they were faster, and they did something truly terrifying. They climbed down from the safety of the branches, cleared a patch of dirt, and lay down to sleep in the open. How? Why weren't they immediately eaten? The answer is the campfire. Fire wasn't just for cooking, it was a psychological wall. It was the first deadbolt on the door of the human home. By mastering fire, Homo erectus created a zone of safety that allowed them to do something no primate had ever done before: experience high-quality sleep. When we moved to the ground, our sleep became shorter, but much deeper. We traded quantity for intensity. We began to experience massive amounts of REM sleep. For the first time in history, a primate was dreaming in high definition. The dream engine. This shift changed everything. While we slept on the ground, guarded by the flickering orange light of the fire, our brains were working overtime. REM sleep is where the creative work of the brain happens. It's where we strip the logic away from our experiences and look for hidden patterns. It's the theater of the mind where we practice social interactions or visualize a hunt before it happens. Many anthropologists believe that the sudden explosion in human toolmaking and social complexity wasn't just because we had bigger brains. It was because we finally had the sleep quality necessary to use them. We didn't just evolve to be smarter, we dreamed ourselves into a higher state of consciousness. The ground wasn't just a place to rest, it was a laboratory for the imagination. The social contract of the hearth. But sleeping on the ground required something even more profound than fire. It required absolute trust. If you are going to fall into a deep, paralyzed REM sleep on the floor of a savanna filled with lions, you need to know that someone is awake. You need to know that your tribe has your back. This created a sentinel system. We began to stagger our sleep. The elders might sleep early while the young hunters stayed up, or vice versa. This social rotation of vigilance is the origin of our modern night owls and early birds. It's not a malfunction of your internal clock, it's an evolutionary relic of the tribal watch. We became the only species on Earth that delegates its safety to others while it is most vulnerable. That bond, the I watch while you dream contract, is the foundation of human society. The cost of the modern night. Today, we have won the war against the dark. We have electric lights, climate-controlled rooms, and weighted blankets. But in our quest for comfort, we've lost the very thing that made our ancestors so resilient. Our ancestors slept to the rhythm of the stars and the crackle of wood. They slept in groups, feeling the warmth and breathing of their kin nearby. Today, we sleep in isolated boxes, staring at blue light screens that trick our brains into thinking the sun never set. We are more connected than ever, yet we are the loneliest sleepers in human history. We suffer from a sleep debt that our ancestors, even with lions prowling in the shadows, might not have recognized. The ancestral pillow. Next time you crawl into bed, take a moment to appreciate the sheer audacity of the act. Every night, you perform an ancient ritual of trust. You close your eyes and surrender your consciousness to the world, trusting that you are safe. That feeling of peace is a luxury that took 2 million years to perfect. We are the descendants of the boldest creatures to ever walk the earth, the ones who dared to climb down from the trees and dream of a better world while the rest of the planet stayed awake in the dark. Your dreams aren't just noise in your head. They are the engine of your humanity. And they only happen because, once upon a time, we learned how to keep the fire burning. The first artists of the dark, the secret language of hands. If you were to walk deep into the Pech Merle cave in France, past the damp limestone and the suffocating silence of the earth, you would find something that feels impossibly modern. There, pressed against the cold stone wall, is a series of handprints. They aren't painted, they are negatives. Someone, 30,000 years ago, held their hand against the rock and blew crushed pigment through a hollow bone, leaving a ghostly silhouette behind. When we think of cavemen, we often imagine brutish figures struggling to survive. But these handprints tell a different story. They are the first time in the history of the universe that a living being looked at their own reflection and said, "I was here. Remember me." The birth of the eye. For millions of years, life on Earth simply was. Animals lived, reproduced, and died, leaving behind bones and footprints, but never an intentional mark. They didn't have a concept of a legacy, but something shifted in the human mind during the Upper Paleolithic. We didn't just start making better spears, we started making symbols. Those handprints are the birth of the individual. By placing a hand on a wall, an ancient human was separating themselves from the tribe, from the animals, and from the environment. It was the moment we stepped out of the flow of nature and became observers of it. It was the invention of the self. The mystery of the missing fingers. But when you look closer at these ancient hands, found in caves from Spain to Indonesia, you notice something unsettling. Many of the hands are missing fingers. For decades, archaeologists assumed this was the result of a brutal life, frostbite, accidents, or ritual mutilation. We pictured a world so harsh that half the population was missing digits. But a new, more fascinating theory has emerged. The missing fingers might not be missing at all. They might be folded. If you fold your fingers against your palm while blowing pigment, you create a specific shape. If these ancient people were folding their fingers, they weren't just leaving a signature, they were using a sign language. In the pitch-black silence of a cave, where a loud voice might startle prey or collapse a tunnel, these handprints may have been the world's first bulletin board. 3 deer passed here. Stay quiet. Danger ahead. We were communicating across time, leaving messages for people we would never meet. The women in the shadows. There is another surprise hidden in the pigment. For over a century, it was assumed that these great artists of the Ice Age were men, the hunters, the leaders. However, recent sexual dimorphism analysis of the handprints, measuring the ratio of the ring finger to the index finger, has revealed a stunning truth. The vast majority of the handprints in these caves belong to women. This changes everything we thought we knew about the division of labor in the ancient world. It suggests that women weren't just gathering while men did the important work. They were the keepers of the culture. They were the artists, the storytellers, and the ones venturing into the deepest, most dangerous parts of the earth to record the soul of the tribe. History has been told through the lens of the hunter. But the walls of the cave suggest it was the mothers and daughters who were the first to document the human experience. The deep human need to be seen. Why did they do it? Why crawl hundreds of meters into a dark, oxygen-deprived hole in the ground just to leave a smudge of red ochre? It's because we are the only species that is haunted by its own mortality. We know that we are temporary. The cave wasn't just a canvas, it was a vault. In the deep earth, the wind doesn't blow and the rain doesn't fall. The pigment stays. Those handprints were a defiance of death. They were an attempt to stay alive in the minds of others long after the body had returned to the dust. Every time you post a photo, write a journal entry, or carve your initials into a tree, you are echoing an impulse that was perfected in the dark 30 millennia ago. The invisible thread. Today, we communicate through screens and fiber optic cables. We send our thoughts into a digital cloud that feels weightless and infinite. But there is a disconnect. We are the most connected we've ever been, yet we feel a profound sense of anonymity. We've lost the physical touch of the stone, but the next time you feel small, or like your life is just a blink in the vastness of time, think of those hands in the dark. Think of the woman who stood in a cave in Borneo 40,000 years ago, her heart thumping in her chest, blowing red dust over her own skin. She was reaching out to you. She was proving that the human spirit is not something that can be contained by time. We are a single, unbroken chain of hands, reaching out from the darkness, trying to find one another. You aren't just a person in the 21st century, you are the latest chapter in a story that began with a single palm pressed against a cold, quiet wall. You are here. And because of them, we remember.